Greetings everyone, this is Dominic, and today you're tuning in to the Comic Book Report, where we review comic books and graphic novels so you can get an idea of what to read. And we're well into a new month, which means it's time for me to look back and check out all of the comic books I picked up in November 2023. But before we jump into today's haul, let's go ahead and shout out our channel sponsor, OrganicPriceBooks.com. If you're looking to pick up your own comic book collected editions, I highly encourage you to check out their website. You can even use my discount code at checkout, TheComicBookReport, to save $2 off of your order. Please note if you use my affiliate code or link to make a purchase, I will earn a small commission, but it's a fantastic way to support the channel. Thank you so much for considering. Now let's get started with last month's haul. In no particular order, we have Moon Knight by Jed MacKay, Volume 1, The Midnight Mission. This is the newest Moon Knight run, and I wanted to give it a shot after really enjoying the Jeff Lemire Moon Knight run. Basically, I was in the market for modern Moon Knight titles, and I've been hearing really good things about not only Jed MacKay's work, but this run in particular. And overall, I have to say I wasn't dissatisfied. I actually had an opportunity to review this first collection already on the channel for those interested, but frankly, I thought it was a lot of fun. I think that this book successfully reset the status quo for Moon Knight. I think it was a perfect onboarding for new readers like myself, and frankly, the art throughout it is absolutely fantastic. Moon Knight is a very layered and complex character, and I think MacKay has actually made him not only more human, but much more palatable to mainstream audiences overall. I didn't feel like it was overcomplicated. I thought the action was fantastic, and at the end, I just felt like I wanted more. I felt like I really cared about Mark Spector. I cared about Moon Knight in a way I maybe hadn't before. I really love the human touch, like I said, MacKay brings to this work, and overall, it's a run I'm interested in continuing. The whole concept of the Midnight Mission that this was named after is sort of an area that Moon Knight opens to kind of help the travelers of the night, to help those in need within his community, and I think it's just a really fun idea overall, just the way he can interact with the community and just bring his own brand of justice. A really fascinating book. It did introduce some fun villains and supporting characters that I believe are new to this run, and overall, again, I just thought it was a lot of fun. I think that this whole trade paperback is maybe 5 or 6 issues, standard edition, nothing oversized, nothing too special, but again, a great way to break into a newer Moon Knight title. And frankly, if this is the caliber of Jed MacKay's writing, you might be looking at one of his newest fans. This was really a fun reading experience, and overall, I have to say I'm also looking for more Moon Knight recommendations. So if you have runs that you like that are more than just the Jeff Lemire run, let me know in the comments. Next up, we have another Moon Knight run. This is the aforementioned Jeff Lemire and Smallwood era. This is a really fun 14-issue run over at Marvel Comics. It's another more modern Moon Knight run. There's been a couple since then, but this is really a fun entry for, again, new readers. I do think that it does use some supporting characters and concepts that longer-time Moon Knight fans might clue into a bit more, might pay off some longer-term fans, but for a new reader like myself, a relatively new reader, I thought it was a great way to jump on the book. I think that Jeff Lemire really kind of crafted a tight sort of psychological thriller that really keeps you guessing. There is some sort of unreliable narrator tropes in this book. Smallwood's artwork throughout is really breathtaking, but one of my favorite facets is as we juggle through some of Moon Knight's or Mark Spector's multiple personalities, because he has dissociative identity disorder, as we jump from personality to personality, we actually have a change in the artist, and I really love that approach to the book. It made it really clear when we were dealing with a new facet or new character within the book, and overall it lent a sense of variety to the art style, all of which are all really great in this book. I thought all the artists were just full steam ahead in a really great way. I am a fan of Lemire, having reviewed things like Sweet Tooth on the channel. I know this was a run I had really wanted to read for some time, and it definitely kickstarted my interest in modern Moon Knight. I think that overall this run has been very hyped, but I still absolutely loved it. I do agree that it's one of the better modern Marvel runs that you can read on the market. I would love to get it in an oversized hardcover one day, but this complete collection in standard size paperback is certainly a great way to buy this book. I do think that this reads really well. For a psychological thriller, I do think it was still fairly easy to understand. It's certainly a page turner, and it left me wanting more, but at the same time, I was thoroughly satisfied. And hey, if you're enjoying this video and you've yet yet to subscribe to the channel, I would encourage you to do so. I'm always doing comic book reviews, unboxings, hauls, and other things like that. Thanks for considering. Now let's keep going with the haul. Next up on our list today, Undiscovered Country Volume 4 Disunity. This is a series written by Scott Snyder and Charles Soule, and it's one over at Image that I have been thoroughly enjoying the last year or so. I've already reviewed the other 3 volumes in this series already, and this is a series, again, I just been trying to recommend to a lot of people because for some reason I still feel like it's fairly under the radar. It's set in a dystopian future version of America that has been walled off for many decades and has now become kind of a dystopian fantasy-scape. It has an ensemble cast of characters, and frankly, it's just one of the more innovative titles I've read recently. This is Volume 4, so clearly I'm invested, clearly I'm enjoying the ride. And if I didn't make it abundantly clear already, this is still an ongoing title. There's actually no oversized hardcover editions yet released at the time of this recording, so this is very much still something fresh. I really like having kind of a monthly comic I'm picking up in these trade paperback editions, and I just think it's a really fun one. As you can see as I've been flipping through here, the art is overwhelmingly consistent and absolutely vibrant and beautiful. I love doing a kind of modern fantasy dystopian book like this because we get so much world building and the visual storytelling, and I think that the artists attached to this book always just knock it out of the park. I really can't wait to start this 4th entry. I have yet to really dive in, but rest assured once I do plan to review the Volume 4. The previous videos haven't performed overly well, but I know I've actually turned a couple of you watchers onto this series because of these reviews, and that's reason enough for me just because I think that this is a fantastic series that more people should be reading. The last volume, as I remember too, ended on a story cliffhanger, so I can't wait to jump back into the world of Undiscovered Country. If you're enjoying this title or you're interested in it, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from all of you regarding this series, but I for one, really excited to have this next volume in the collection. Okay, next up is an interesting one here from Dark Horse. This is Cover by Brian Michael Bendis and David Mack. For those that may have missed my I Met Jim Lee and David Mack video, yes, I met one of the creators of this book at a local comic event at one of the malls nearby. He not only told me about this series he had, I bought this copy, which he graciously signed for me. David Mack was just an absolute dream to meet. He was really a cool guy, absolutely generous and giving of his time. He signed not only this, which I bought from him, but also my copy of Daredevil Parts of a Whole, which I also just recently reviewed on the channel. At any rate, this is an indie comic that is kind of based on true events that happened to David Mack, I guess, but the whole book is sort of this clandestine kind of thriller spy series where this comic book creator gets kind of drafted into sort of CIA operations. Really a fascinating concept for a series. I do think the art is visually interesting, at some points understated, but really imaginative. Whenever we have the full-on kind of popping David Mack watercolor style, it really just elevates the already good storytelling in the book. I do think the characters are really interesting, and overall the pacing of this book I find to be one of the most riveting facets of it. I'm almost halfway through it, so once I finish it I do hope to review on the channel, but so far it feels like a cool character drama mixed with a weird spy thriller. I know it's kind of an interesting blend, but it comes across as sort of a character-based slow burn. But I really like it. Like I said, I don't have much like this in my collection so far, and I think after meeting David Mack, I'm just inclined to give this a try. I like reading something new in my library, and I had never heard about this series, but I certainly enjoy David Mack and Brian Michael Bendis. Been a big fan of both of these creators for a while now, and I think that this is going to be a really fun one to review on the channel. So if you're interested, please don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I drop the review. Next on our list, we have a standard size hardcover from DC. Of course, I'm talking about Nightwing, The Battle for Bludhaven's Heart. This was a volume of Nightwing I did review on the channel as well this past month, another one I was really eagerly awaiting. They're calling it a volume 3, it might technically be a volume 4 if you include that Fear State Nightwing collection they also released. At any rate, it really helps culminate one of the early story arcs for this run by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo, and frankly, this was one of the stronger entries in this series for me so far, which has already been a really great run. I love the art style from Redondo. The colorist also does a phenomenal job throughout it. I think the breathtaking sense of scope we get visually is absolutely paired with some really great, lighthearted, character-driven narrative from Taylor. He absolutely has a grasp of these characters, this world, and the overall voice and tone these characters should have. We also have a great kind of romantic subplot between Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, which I've loved seeing develop since even the beginning of this run. This is a really, really pivotal key entry in this run so far, at least as I see it, and I had a blast reading it recently. It's actually making me want to revisit this character even more. I'm definitely a big Nightwing fan, and I think that this run from Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo have certainly brought in an even wider audience to Nightwing that's maybe never read him before. I definitely want to encourage those who are interested in Nightwing to check out this run if you haven't. Like I said, this is the volume 3, again, maybe volume 4, depending on how you break it apart, but I'm happy to report at this point, this run is still going strong. I really dig it. I absolutely see why the hype is there, and this was another one I was really excited to finally have in the collection. If you'd like a full review of Battle for Bludhaven's Heart, definitely check out my review if you've yet to do so. Again, I had a blast covering it. You can also find my reviews for the other entries in this run from Tom Taylor. Okay, and another standard-size hardcover, this one being Gotham City Year 1 from Tom King and Phil Hester. This is a book, like Batman the Knight from Chip Zdarsky, that I didn't even know it was in the works until they released the hardcover collection, and then all of a sudden I was fascinated, because here I have one of my favorite comic creators, in this case being Tom King, and they've released an interesting Batman-related book that I knew nothing about. I went in fairly blind to this, but based on the title alone, I had a feeling that this would be right up my alley. I heard initially that the central conceit is sort of how the corruption in Gotham got its start. It's another kind of Gotham City origin. It takes place 2 generations before Bruce Wayne and the Batman, and it has to do with the kind of legacy Wayne grandparent characters who have a lost and kidnapped child. Anyway, what we actually have here is a super gritty crime noir set in Gotham City, right at the turning of the page. It's right in the 1960s as far as when it's set. We definitely have a lot of civil rights kind of actions happening within the pages of this book. We have a lot of classism and interesting things like that. It definitely deals with themes like identity, legacy, and just what is crime, what is good, what is evil. With King at the helm, I always expect kind of a lyricism to the writing. And frankly, I was not disappointed here with Gotham City Year 1. We have his usual beautiful style shoved through the kind of hard-boiled dialogue you would hope to see in a noir. We have just this kind of fanciful language that's just been kicked through the dirt, but overall the delivery is pitch perfect. When you combine that with the incredible art from Phil Hester, who I was less familiar with, we have a really, really immersive crime detective story that feels like a period piece, but it just absolutely works. Even not knowing most of the characters in this book, it really became easy to just dive in and get connected. I love just the little Easter eggs we had for not only Gotham City, but some of the heroes and villains of the Batman mythos. But overall, one of my favorite aspects of this is that they felt like small Easter eggs, and people that weren't looking for the Batman connection could still really enjoy a crime-driven detective story. I think that overall this could have been an indie title if you removed a few references. This was a fun one. Next up, we've reached our Omnibus haul for this last month, one of 2 here with Captain America Return of the Winter Soldier by Ed Brubaker. Really excited to welcome this to the collection this past month. I was so happy they reprinted this volume and the Trial of Captain America before that. This is the 5th of the 5-volume Ed Brubaker Captain America Omnibus line, and I am so happy to finally have the full run on my bookshelf. Absolutely adore this run. Brubaker is an absolutely wonderful kind of crime thriller comic writer, and to see him do what he did with Captain America, well, there's a reason he's basically the gold standard for this character for so many out there, myself included. As you can see as I flip through here, we have some gorgeous artwork as always. We delve into not only the character of Steve Rogers, but definitely the character of Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. This is a really fantastic book here. I can't wait to just dive in more, revisiting some old issues and just seeing everything in this beautiful oversized hardcover format. I know I got the Trial of Captain America back in October, you could probably see that in my last haul video, but to have Return of the Winter Soldier to finally round out this set, well, as a collector, it just really warms my heart. I really, really love Captain America, and Ed Brubaker is a really large reason as to why. This is a character that really snuck up on me. I didn't think I'd love this character so much, and even once I collected so many of his books, I didn't even realize I was as big of a Captain America fan as I was, but all of a sudden here I am with all these collections, just thoroughly enjoying this character, and this is definitely the character-defining run in my mind. I know there are other great Captain America runs out there, but to me, I don't know if we'll ever top Ed Brubaker. A fantastic run that reaches its conclusion here. Just well done, sir. Well done, Marvel, for reprinting, and wow, so excited to finally have this one in the library. Last but certainly not least, we have Thor by Jason Aaron Omnibus Volume 1. This is one of a 2-volume set, and I am elated to finally welcome it into my collection. Thor has never really been my Marvel character, and yet after reading the Matt Fraction run not too long ago, I was really interested in diving more deeply into this character, especially with the more modern runs, and I've heard that Jason Aaron is absolutely a high bar for this character, and so I finally got this first omnibus. I am a fan of Jason Aaron's, admittedly, and I knew that this was one of his better runs, at least from all the reviews I heard. And I have to say, reading the first couple story arcs in this omnibus already, wow, I am blown away. The art style is absolutely stunning. I know Assad Ribic is on a few issues, and it's just really spellbinding. I think at its best, it feels like a high fantasy series that just has a loose layer of comic book superheroics. I think for fans of that fantasy genre, this is absolutely a mainstream comic book run for you. This omnibus edition, the oversized hardcover, is an absolutely breathtaking format to see a lot of the visuals throughout Jason Aaron's run, and I, for one, am really, really just enjoying my time with this book. It's definitely a big omnibus, and I know it's one of 2, so I'm hoping to get through these eventually. I'm hoping to get the second volume for Christmas. As to when I'll completely finish this run, only I could speculate at this point. I know my backlog is a little steep, but this is actually one of my nightly reads recently, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the time there. Let me know in the comments if you've been enjoying Jason Aaron's Thor, or if you have other great Thor comic book run recommendations. I'd definitely like to hear from you in the comments below. Really enjoyed it between the stuff from Matt Fraction and now here with Jason Aaron, and I think the sky's the limit with a character like this sometimes. I've enjoyed him in bigger team books like Avengers or different events, but I'm looking for other recommendations out there. I have checked out some of Walter Simonson's run. Anyway, I've been having a blast so far. Just wanted to show this to all of you. Okay, and I think that about rounds out our haul for November 2023. It was a little bit of a leaner month, but overall still some really great pickups. I got a couple omnibuses, couple standard size hardcovers, and a small handful of trade paperbacks. A really solid fun month for fun reading. I know I've already reviewed a handful of these on the channel this past month, but if you're interested in my reviews of the rest, definitely let me know in the comments. And I'd love also the comment section to be, what have you gotten recently? What are you hoping to get? What have been some of your favorite recent reads? I would love if the comment section was just this great list of comic book recommendations that anyone could just scan and feel like they could find a new book to read. Anyway, thank you for helping me out with that, and as always, thank you for watching my channel. It means the world to me, and until next time, this has been the Comic Book Report. Please don't forget to give this video a like, that comment we mentioned, and maybe check out another video on your way out. Thanks, and have a good one.